Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, I moved out and took everything. Can't eat my cake in the living room? Whose tide are you on? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I moved out and took everything. It became apparent to me last week that my roommates were trying to drive me out of the house to get one of their boyfriends in on my lease. When I told them I wanted to stay, they started staging incidents/messes around the house so they could yell at me for them, and it all came to a head when they called a meeting with me 2 days ago. One of them had to hold the other back as she screamed at me that she hated me and I was not welcome in the building. They proceeded to tell me that I contributed nothing to the house and wasted their space, and that they had gotten in with the landlady and convinced her to not renew my lease in June. I told them I talked to the landlady, and when they said they were the heads of the house, I laughed and went on with my day. I spoke to the landlady and she acknowledged that they were out of hand, and while she had given them the power to not renew my lease, she also said I could move out whenever and not pay for a single day I wasn't there. So, yesterday when my roommates both left to visit family, they are sisters, I immediately called everyone I knew and vacated the house of everything I owned. I took the curtains, the rugs, all the cat toys, and even the cat tower that I had made with my mom. I took all of their things off my shelves and other furniture and stacked them in the middle of the now nearly empty living room. I snapped pictures of everything, handed the keys to the landlady, and immediately *ket off. They won't be back to the house until tomorrow. I blocked them on everything so I won't get any angry messages, but I'm sure their faces will be priceless when they come home to a half-empty house with hundreds of dollars in storage and furniture gone. So much for me not contributing anything to the house. Now I actually don't. They also have to find someone else to take up the lease till boyfriend can move in when June comes around, or they have to pick up my rent. Feels pretty good. Update, December 30th, 22. It took a while for things to settle down, but I'll just post a quick update on how everything is going. I emailed my attorney asking if the screenshots I took of my landlady's text saying I could leave with no financial repercussions would protect me if she somehow changed her mind and wanted to charge me rent. He said I was good to go and would be covered by it. A lot of people are asking about whether or not my roommates will actually have to pick up my rent. My lease specifically states, if one tenant is not able to fulfill their portion of the rent, it will be up to the other tenants to make up the difference. I don't know if she will make an exception or not for them. She did tell me though that it will be their responsibility to get someone to lease my room until boyfriend can move in June. The girls came back from visiting family today, so it is certain that they have seen the empty house now. I haven't gotten any calls from any officers about stolen goods, so I'm thinking I'm in the clear. Considering that I haven't actually stolen anything, they would be filing a false report, which is very illegal, according to my attorney. And the big one. My boyfriend was pretty pissed by the whole situation. He heard the whole screaming meeting when they told me to leave, as he was up in my room when it happened, and he has also observed the abusive texts and language they have sent and said to me, and confronted both of my roommates online about how they've been acting. They immediately went to their dad, and he had the cops called. I don't know all of the details, and frankly, I don't want to because I have them blocked. I want nothing to do with them, and I just want my life to go on. But yeah, my boyfriend pretty much had to go to the station and sign some papers saying he'd leave them alone. I'm pretty pissed at him for confronting them, but like, the cops? Come on. Anyways, I'm couch surfing until I can get a place. I have 2 lined up that I'm very interested in, both of which have girls who I know and can trust. I think things are looking up, and hopefully this is the last time I have to think about this ever again. If something does happen, I will be updating. Thanks to everyone for the support. It makes me feel really good knowing that I'm not the bad person here like the girls gaslight me into thinking I was in too, that my suffering did brighten some people's days. Hopefully if something like this happens to you, you use similar tactics. I would love to hear about it. It was also really encouraging to know that I'm not alone in having roommate issues. It was uplifting to hear other people's stories and how they got through it. Sending lots of love. Good on you for not putting up with abuse. Post back with texts if they contact you. I will. They're going to try and claim I stole things or say I made a mess of the house, but I intentionally took photos of everything before I left and had my landlady do a walkthrough of the house and my things with my mother, who backed me up on what belonged to me. I didn't realize so many people would have wanted to see their reaction. While I have blocked them for my mental health, I am sure they will try to reach out to harass my friends. If they do, I will absolutely be posting an update for y'all. Get a lease release in writing from the landlady. Include exemption from rent. CYA. I have a text from her saying she exempts me from rent as soon as I leave. My neighbor did this. I came home to find he and his family emptying the apartment of all his property. The couple he was living with were terrible to him. The screams I heard that evening when they got home and found the kitchen table, chairs, couch, TV, etc. all gone was hilarious. Sounds like you have a plan in place for living arrangements in the meantime? I'll be couch surfing until I can find a new place, but thankfully I have a lot of friends who are happy to let me stay a night or two here and there. Till I get my place, I've moved all of my things into a storage unit. I live in a college town, and so with a large portion of students graduating in January, I'll probably be able to get a spot in less than 2 weeks. I'm already talking with 5 prospective places. FYI, it's usually better to ignore rather than straight up block. If you block, you don't have any record of what they're yelling at you about, but ignoring can sometimes be handing them a shovel and showing them to their cemetery plot. Better depends on what OP values more: ability to keep written records of potentially hateful or self-incriminating messages, or ability to protect their mental peace. Seems like OP values the latter more, so I think they're doing what's right for them. If you do unblock them, as many on this post are saying, do not respond. Feel free to read and or post what they send, but do not engage with them, lest it be some kind of basis for them to try to take you to court or something else. Letting them rage into the void isn't actionable, but a misspoken response might be enough to possibly draw you into some kind of legal issue, even if frivolously. Depending on local laws, if they are harassing at OP and OP asks them to stop but they don't, at that point they can be reported to the police, who can slap them with charges and or a restraining order. Can't eat my cake in the living room? This is just a cute little thing my 4-year-old did last night. We were having dinner and dessert afterwards. We always eat dinner together in the kitchen, but for some reason, he wanted to eat his cupcake in the living room. We said no, saying that if he eats his dessert in the living room, we'll take it away. He leaves the kitchen with the cupcake, so I stand up to retrieve it. Only he didn't go into the living room, he sat down on the threshold, legs in the living room, but his upper body and thus the cupcake itself was still in the hallway. It was so audacious, I couldn't help but burst into laughter. You are raising a lawyer. Critical thinking at its finest. Reminds me of a picture I saw on Reddit of a child lying on the ground with a plate of food in front of them and a tablet in front of that, complying with the 2 rules: food doesn't leave the kitchen and no screens in the kitchen, by having the plate of food on one side of the threshold and the tablet on the other. That's why my rule is don't take food out of the kitchen or dining room. Helps keep crumbs and other bits out of their bed and rug. I just have a rule of no ants, that way ants stay out and I can eat wherever I want. Reminds me of my dog, who wasn't allowed in the dining room. She would start dinner with her toenails at the threshold, the stretch and lie on her side, and stretch again until she was at your feet, with her feet never having touched the floor. My roommate's cat knew she wasn't allowed into my room because of the closed door. One day, I had to quick grab something out of the bathroom that was literally next door to my door. I took the 10 steps needed, turned around, and there was the cat, lying in the hardwood hallway with one paw touching my carpet. I swear she was smirking at me. Rule 6 bans my stupid kid did something stupid stories. My daughter does this. She has since she was little. The kitchen is connected to the game room where her TV is. She sits just inside the kitchen where she can still see the television. My cat's not allowed in the kitchen and knows it, so she lays on the threshold with her little front leggies stuck in the kitchen but the rest of her body sprawled in the dining room. Whose tide are you on? Backstory: I, 38F, started dating this man, 49M, a few months back, and things are going well. He is, in my opinion, one to keep. But does live with his parents. Now, in his defense, he has lived with them for the last 10 years, to help them, as they are getting older, and he needed the company after losing his previous wife and child. So I don't count this on against him, as it's situational. Now, his mother, who he warned me that she was petty, rotten, his words not mine, and overall not great or welcoming. Fine by me, I don't date her, so I'll remain civil, use manners, and overall be kind out of respect for him. I've been to his place several times, multiple times a week. I stay there with him half the time, and in all the time I have been coming or going. His mother refuses to meet me personally. Other than that, she's been fine. And not bothered me or us at all. Her excuse has been that she doesn't want to meet any new girlfriends after the one he had about 3 years ago. Only recently the tides, pardon the pun, beginning to turn. As she has asked multiple times if I was coming out to kitchen to sit, or if I wanted to join them for dinner at the table. He had denied the request for me, telling her I didn't want to and that she would need to personally come invite me for dinner, after all the fuss she made in previous months. I have found her petty behavior fascinating and have tried to not let it bother me and went about things as normally as possible. That seems to be working for now. Now, to the malicious compliance, which could be the pettiest thing I've seen in a long time, maybe ever, and I can't help but laugh at it. I can't even be mad at it. So while I was there a few nights ago, I had a few things dirty and I threw them in laundry to be washed, all items right side out and facing correct direction. He has told me she loves doing laundry. So it wasn't a problem. He also mentioned in passing that she was upset once and she brought his clean clothes hung up and folded, but all inside out, because that's how she got them, but he insisted they weren't inside out at all when going into the laundry hamper, so he wore the shirt inside out all day just to mess with her, which it did. And their laundry war was over. Fast forward to today and he grabbed the 4 items of mine that had been in hamper. All folded and hung up neatly, ironed and everything. But all 4 pieces of clothing. Inside out. And I am 100% certain nothing was placed in hamper inside out. She has purposely turned all of my clothes inside out before returning them clean. She has complied to the letter, but not in the spirit of the request. She does your laundry? Time to get some really racy lingerie, cheap stuff, because she'll probably ruin it. Could be fun to mess with her a bit. Besides, she might have a coronary, and, pow, problem solved. Kiddin', she sounds delightful. Good luck. Opie put them in the household laundry when visiting because her boyfriend said his mother loves doing laundry. Sounds more like poking the bear to me, when Opie already knows his mom doesn't like her and wasn't offered laundry service. Or Opie could just do her own laundry and not assume that this woman would also do hers without first being asked. So an adult male, living with his parents to help them out but still has his mom do his laundry, claims his mom loves doing laundry. My girlfriend gets mad at me when I do laundry. She claims that I'm taking away one of her accomplishments for the day. She hates ironing and putting away laundry, so I iron and put it away. I'm more weirded out by the fact Opie has never met mom. I'm picturing mom is a skeleton in the back room and boyfriend's name is Norman. Sit down in the kitchen and have a cup of tea with her. Be polite. Life is too short to worry about stupid stuff. This is just sad. You are an adult woman who is living with her boyfriend's parents half of the time and you had his mommy do your laundry? I am super surprised by the ages in the post. My wife and I do the laundry together. She does the folding and I do the pre-sorting of the to-be-folded stuff. We take humorous pride in being the fastest laundry team at the laundromat, so if I do something that delays the process, she will lightly rib me about how our race time is being affected. Anyhow, I ribbed her once or twice about her shirts being inside out, only to discover a few weeks later that one of my shirts was inside out. But I knew that I put it in right side out. It was then that I realized that clothes can turn inside out from all the agitation and tumbling they receive. If you made it to the end of the video, Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.